Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is a pause on Bhagavad Gita. So I'm bringing in a text called Tattva Bodha. We'll explain what Tattva Bodha is now. First, I want to let us know two categories of grantha. Put the word down, grantha. G-R-A-N. N has a dot underneath. T-H-A. Grantha. Grantha means text. So there are two types of granthas. The first is what's called prasthana traya. Prasthana traya. P-R-A-S, it's not on the board. P-R-A-S-T-H, long A-N-A, dash traya. Prasthana traya. Okay, what is the Prasthana Traya? Prasthana Traya is a complete text. What does complete text mean? It means it's both a Dharma Shastra and a Moksha Shastra. Okay, so Prasthana Traya includes the following texts: Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra. Sutra is a long U, S, long U, T-R-A. Okay, so what does prasthana mean? Prasthana has several words. It means one of them is a means, that is a journey or a method. Is a complete text for liberation and living. Right? So that is Dharma Shastra and Moksha Shastra. Now the second type of grantha. Okay, so we've done the first type, now we're on to the second type. The second type of grantha is called prakarana. P-R-A-K-A-R-A-N, N has a dot underneath, A. So prakarana. Prakarana grantha is the category of Tattva Bodha, what we will be studying. So you can just put Tattva Bodha equals Prakarana grantha. So the question now is, what is Prakarana grantha? Grantha we know means text. Yeah? Now what does the word Prakarana mean? Prakarana means topical. That means it's dealing with a topic matter, just one topic. And the purpose of a Prakarana grantha is to qualify the student for higher knowledge. So now you're saying, so does that mean that Tattva Bodha is a qualification grantha? The answer is yes. What does qualification mean? It means it establishes important terms that are used in the first category being what? What's
Prasthana.
the Prasthana Traya? That means the way to understand Prasthana Traya is by looking at Prakarana grantha. You understand? So it's a qualification text for the advanced text of the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita.
As in knowing the vocabulary of...
Knowing the various terms, that's correct. Like what is Brahman, what is Satyam, what is Mithya. So that means that if one were to study Vedanta and be serious about it, they would first go into this basic text, Prakarana grantha, and then they will go on to more advanced texts like the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutras. Okay. Otherwise, what happens is then we go into these advanced texts and we say, what does this mean? What does this mean? And then we're lost. Okay. The author of Tattva Bodha is Shankara, Adi Shankara. So that's what we want to, this is direct words. And we're going to analyze that word by word, okay? Okay, let's start with Tattva Viveka Kaha. Repeat. Tattva Viveka Kaha. Okay, let's start like this. Before we answer what Tattva Viveka is, we'll put this down. Purpose of Tattva Viveka. We first want to know what's the purpose before we get into it. Now, underneath Viveka, put an arrow that says Sanskrit root for Vich, V-I-C. Because Viveka comes from a Sanskrit root called Vich. Now, the question is, what does Vich mean? Vich has two meanings. The first is to differentiate. Now, the question is, why would I want to differentiate? And what does differentiating lead to? Differentiating leads to what? Clarity. That's why differentiation and clarity both mean viveka, which belongs to the Sanskrit word vich. Okay, so viveka equals differentiate, comma, clarity. So the question now comes up is, differentiate what? Before we answer differentiate what, next to tattva, put reality. That's what tattva means. And bodha means knowledge. So we're studying tattva bodha. We're studying knowledge of reality. Okay? Okay, differentiate what? Remember we said viveka, differentiate? So differentiate what? Atma from anatma. Okay? Put that down. Why do you want to differentiate atma from anatma? To establish clarity. Clarity about what? Clarity about what is atma and what is anatma. Under clarity, put an arrow. And now we ask, what is clarity? Now think about this. If you want to have clarity, like who doesn't want to have clarity, right? We want to have clarity in life, in how to manage our finances, manage everything, right? Just we want clarity. So what does clarity mean? Clarity means to classify. That means product of classification is clarity. So what does it mean to classify? Imagine I had, let's say, 1,000 coins, right? And they were 1 cent, 5 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, and they were just spread all over. It looks like a mess, doesn't it? Now, the first thing to establish clarity around what is it that I'm facing, I need to what? Classify all the 1 cent coins, all the 5 cent coins, all the 50 cent coins, right? Only then I can really establish what is what. So to establish clarity, I need what? To classify what? Atma from anatma. That is how I establish clarity. Okay, next question. What is tattva viveka? This should be a next question that you're writing down. What is tattva viveka? Tattva viveka is atma satyam tadanyat sarvam mitya iti. Before you write it down, put this down. What is tattva viveka? Atma equals satyam. That's what it says here. Atma satyam. And anyat, anyat means, see, tat anyat means other than. That means everything else or other than satyam is mithya. So you put anatma equals mithya. Anatma can also be anyat. Those two words go together. Now underneath Mithya, put an arrow and say, what is Mithya? Unreal.
Changing.
Or it's a lot more than that. That which appears. And underneath Satyam, put real. That which is always present. That which does not change. Okay. Now, next topic. We're going to now speak about how to do Tattva Viveka, how to actually go about the process of differentiating Atma from Anatma. So we're going to start like this. Differentiating what? Differentiating Tattva from non-Tattva. Right? Reality from non-reality. Now, underneath Tattva, put two arrows that go on both sides, like this, like a V. On one side of Tattva, we're not dealing with non, we're dealing with Tattva now. On one side of Tattva, the arrow put microcosmic or individual. Microcosmic / individual. They're the same words. And on the other arrow, put macrocosmic or world. So two arrows, microcosmic, macrocosmic. On the individual or the microcosmic arrow, put Atman. And on the macrocosmic, put Brahman. So that means both Atman and Brahman are one same consciousness. They just have a different name. It depends whether you're speaking of microcosmic or macrocosmic. So you can put a circle and say same consciousness for Atman and Brahman. It just gains a different name depending on what reality you're dealing with, the micro or the macro. Now this consciousness, put another arrow and say Advaita, one without a second. So underneath consciousness, what is consciousness? Advaita, one without a second. Okay, so Advaita or non-dual underneath consciousness. So we're establishing what is what, okay?
Where does consciousness
Circle. Yeah, circle.
together?
Yeah, circle together.
Brahman and Atman.
That's right, circle together and put consciousness. Okay. Now we have a name for this. We can call him Atma. Remember the word Aikyam we used last week. Aikyam means same. So we can say Brahma, Atma, Aikyam. That means Atma and Brahman are the same. Atma, Brahman, Aikya. A-I-K-Y-A. So Atma, that's a long A. Long A, Atma, Brahma, B-R-A, M, long A, I-K-Y-A. It's a Sandhi. Okay. So, Viveka at the... Okay, now we're going to go back to the individual level, right? Viveka at the individual level is... Self is Satyam at the individual level. This is what we say from the microcosmic standpoint. That self or Atma is Satya. So put individual, self is Satya. All else is Mithya. And above all else, put BMI, body, mind, intellect. So self is Satya, all else is Mithya. At Brahman level, okay, we dealt with the individual level, now at Brahman level. Brahman is Satya, and Jagat is Mithya. At Brahman level, Brahman is Satya, and Jagat, that is the world, is Mithya. underneath Satya, we just said Brahman is Satya, underneath Satya put an arrow and say that which is abhadhita. A, B, long A, D-H-I-T-A. Abhadhita. Now, for a moment, pretend like the A is not there, because the A just reverses the meaning of the word. So we're just going to look at bhadhita right now, right? So what does the word bhadhita mean? That which can be falsified. So underneath bhadhita, say that which can be falsified. In other words, that which can be seen, and unless it's perceived, it can't be falsified. In order to remove ignorance, I have to perceive ignorance. Okay? So, bhadhita, put an arrow, mithya. That's what bhadhita is. Now, let's use the example of snake and rope to give us some context. Do we all know the snake rope example? Okay, we're just going to revise. We don't have to use the original. We're just going to say, let's say you're walking in twilight, and on the ground, right, you're alone, right? You're enjoying yourself. You're just going for a nice little walk. And it's sort of not too bright, it's not too dark, so you can still see your way around. And you look down and it's a snake, right? It's a snake. And you have fear, like, oh, it's a snake. You ever had that experience before? No one? I had it the other year, actually, or something, in Byron, because there's so much, snakes there, so you're always on the lookout. And then I think, oh no, it's a snake, right? But then later on, I found out it's actually, usually they say branch, but we're just going to stick with a rope, right? So that means somebody told me, no, Andre, it's a rope, it's not a snake. And only then, it's removed, right? That's a snake rope example. So that means I saw what is actually not. And when someone told me what it is, I no longer saw what it's not. I saw what it actually is. Okay? So let's put this down into a formula. So, snake, put rope snake. Do we all know what the rope snake is now? Okay, I need to know before we're moving on. Heads shaking? Good. Underneath snake, put 1, negated or falsified by knowledge. And 2, it is seen in ignorance and removed by knowledge. So that means when I saw the snake, I had a genuine emotion, I had a genuine experience, and as soon as knowledge of what it actually is arose, it disappeared. Okay.
It's actually seen by your fear bringing up your imagination.
Projection, yeah.
Mental projection.
Yeah. We'll get to that now. So there's 2 properties of mithya. Put mithya, 2 properties. 1, mithya is seen, and 2, it disappears. In other words, the snake was seen, and then, by knowledge, it disappeared. Now, satya, let's talk about the rope, okay? Satya. That which is not seen in ignorance and which is seen in knowledge. In other words, that which is not seen in ignorance and which is seen in knowledge. So when I was ignorant of the rope, I did not see the rope while I was ignorant of the rope. I only became aware of the rope in knowledge. So, two properties of Satya. One, I don't see the rope in ignorance, and I see the rope in knowledge. Okay, very simple. Now, over not seen, right, there's a not seen, put a circle and then add a little note to that. And here's a note. It doesn't mean that I do not see the rope entirely. Only partially. Why? Okay, so it's actually not seen. The not seen should be corrected, but I told you that order for a purpose. The not seen is actually partially seen, or not fully seen. Okay? Now here's why. If the rope was not there, I could never see the snake, right? And the snake has the exact same length of the rope, does it not? So that means whether I saw the rope or not, the rope, I actually did see it partially, but my own projection was what? Stronger. It was superimposed over the rope. So the rope was there all along. It was never not there. It was just that my mind, due to not ascertaining or seeing the fullness of that which I am seeing, could then my mind be allowed to project something that looks similar onto which I am seeing. Understand? Michael? Yeah?
Yeah.
Goknur? Good? Okay, so this means that I'm actually seeing something, but I don't know what it is exactly. Therefore, my mind is allowed to project. Why is my mind allowed to project? Someone answer?
Ignorance?
Yeah? Okay. Because,
Imagination,
why is my mind allowed to project a snake onto the rope?
fear,
Memory?
self-preservation.
It's all true. Yeah.
Or previous knowledge.
Well, self-preservation, because that's what you're fearing.
Because I don't have the full visibility, the full knowledge of what it actually is. That means my knowledge is partial. When knowledge is partial, so it was all right. When knowledge is partial, then the mind naturally is allowed to project its own ideas. That's what we're establishing here. That's what ignorance means. I don't fully know who I am, therefore, I'm allowed, my mind is allowed to project what it wishes to according to its desires. Okay, according to its ideas. Okay, so let's now put Satya, we're now going to summarize Satya. That which is partially seen in ignorance, that which is incompletely seen in ignorance, or partially, or not fully, and which is fully seen in knowledge. And then next to Satya, put Abhatita. You see, now we know what Abhatita is, which you already did before. You already put Abhatita. Okay, so someone explain what is Bhatita. Huh? Yep, and what is Abhatita?
Something that can't be falsified.
Huh?
Something that can't be falsified.
Something that can't be falsified. Yeah? Is everyone clear on that? Okay. So now let's establish a formula for this. Atma equals Satyam equals Abhatita. Atma equals Satya equals Abhatita. Lloyd, you okay? Just put Atma. This is a new line. Atma equals Satya equals Abhatita. So we're equating the three of them. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay. And the description of what you just wrote is seen partially in ignorance and fully in knowledge. Okay, new line. the word here tadanyat, and everything else. So tadanyat equals anatma. Tadanyat, that means everything else equals, here it is, anatma, A-N, long A-T-M-A-N. Anatma equals mithya, equals bhatita. So tadanyat equals anatma equals mithya equals bhatita. And the description of what you just wrote is seeing ignorance, or fully seen in ignorance. Okay, fully seen. I fully see the snake of my ignorance of the rope. So fully seen in ignorance and not seen in knowledge. So put this down next to tadanyat equals anatma equals mithya equals bhatita. Fully seen in ignorance and not seen in knowledge. This means when I have ignorance of the rope, I fully see the snake. When I did I say that right? When I have ignorance of the rope, I fully see the snake. When I gain knowledge of the rope, then I cannot see the snake anymore. I see the truth. Okay? So, the first line we said anatma, and the first line we said atma, and the second line is anatma. So it will be equated to saying that an ignorant person sees the body-mind intellect as the body-mind intellect. And a liberated person sees the body-mind intellect as consciousness, another form in consciousness. So I see the truth of what it actually is. It's still a body-mind intellect, but it's just a form. It's just another form of consciousness.
Sorry, ignorance sees body, mind, intellect as just that.
Yeah.
Whereas wise, is that what you're saying? The wisdom?
I see the body-mind. No. The ignorance sees the body-mind intellect as a body-mind intellect. This is my body. This is my mind. This is my intellect.
Yeah.
But the wise sees the body-mind intellect also, except knows it to be just another form of the truth, consciousness. Okay, let's now move on to the next phase. Okay, we're gonna go Atmakaha. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Dhyatiriktaha. Okay, let's look at Atma line by line. Atmakaha. Okay, what is Atma? That which is different from Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirad. Okay, so put Atma, because Vyatiriktaha means different from. So Atma is different from Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirad. So you're going to write it down, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirad, and then circle that, and then say not Atma. Above Sharirad, put, okay, what does Sharirad mean? Sharirad means that which decays. That which decays. Sharirad, that which decays. Or another term is body. Okay? And Yatiriktaha is different, means different. So Atma Kaha, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Yatiriktaha. So Atma is other than the three bodies, Sthula meaning Gross. Sthula means, yeah, put gross or physical. It's not gross, but it's just gross. Yeah. That which is visible to the senses. That's the gross body. That which is known through the senses. And underneath sthula, we're speaking of the gross body, put maximum force in waking state. In other words, while you're writing that down, in the waking state right now, the sthula sharira is in its maximum force. That's why we so much identify with our bodies right now. Do we not? Because we're awake. So in the waking state, the sthula sharira is maximum potential, and thus we go body, 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 I'm hurt, I've got a headache, and so on. Okay, that doesn't mean that the other two bodies are not active, it just means it's the most active. Okay. Now, sukshma, that's a long U, sukshma sharira is, so what does sukshma mean? Sukshma has several words. Minute, small, teeny weeny, can't see it. It's so small I can't see it. In other words, we give it a name. Because we can't see it, it is subtle. It's invisible to the senses. Sthula is visible, but sukshma is invisible to the senses. In the dream state, we're still underneath the sukshma. In the dream state, your sukshma sharira is maximum force, most dominant. Isn't that your experience? When you're dreaming, where is your physical body? No. But is your life still in your dream? Absolutely. So this life that's in the dream belongs to sukshma sharira, and this life is also available here. So sukshma sharira that you're using now is also available in the dream, but it's mostly dominant in the dream. Okay, now karana, what does karana mean? That which causes the sthula and sukshma sharira. That which causes your sthula and sukshma sharira. The sleeping body. What does sleeping body mean? Everything stored in karana sharira is in potential. So you put potential. Potential unexpressed. What kind of potential? Desires. That's what causes one to be enjoying themselves on a nice day. A particular figure walks by with a certain face, and they suddenly get triggered by this face, and they lose it. It's like, what's wrong with you? And then we justify. We don't know why we're doing it, right? So where did this come from? Why was I triggered out of nowhere? Because my vasana, my tendencies, were in potential. And when the right environment demonstrated itself before my perception, then it activated this potential stored in the karana sharira. I want X. I want Y. This is your karana sharira. That's what makes the person.
You still experience desires while you're in that depth of sleep. Is that what you're saying? So you have a desire to dream, or you have a desire to wake up?
Karana sharira is dominant during deep sleep. Put this down. It's dominant in deep sleep. In fact, there's nothing but karana sharira in deep sleep. That is why we're so blissful, happy in deep sleep. Because everything is in potential. Nothing's actually expressing, nothing's being triggered. There's no objects in deep sleep. Everything remains unexpressed. So the self, Atma, remains free of objects. And that bliss, that joy that we feel in happiness, in sleep, belongs to Atma. Not being infringed upon or obstructed by our conditions.
It's almost a complete reflection of Brahman in the universe waking up. And
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's actually an identical match, except here we have still covered by tamaguna during sleep. That's why we can't be aware of our bliss during sleep, because we're still covered by karana sharira, and karana sharira is tamas. Oh, it just say it's made out of the three gunas, but it's mostly tamas during sleep. Did you ever notice that? To fall asleep, we need to get tired, fatigued, and that's what makes us go to sleep. So tamas is required for sleep. Okay. Now, another way to look at the three bodies. So, okay, everyone say Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, Dhyatiriktaha. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, Dhyatiriktaha. So, Atma is, other than these three bodies, the causal, Karana, the Sukshma, and the Sthula. Okay?
just one thing, but last one cited out, you define that as a decaying body,
Yeah.
which infers it's got to be a living body or something.
Yeah, it decays. That means it's subject to time and it change.
So when you say, so the definition of body here, it's not just a physical body, but a body of thought or a body of emotion or more subtle bodies?
We're talking about that which envelops the subtle, the mind, the intellect, that which envelops these limbs, that which envelops the vasanas. Okay, so body is the enveloper. Okay. The other way to look at these three bodies is through the pancha kosha. So now we're going to say pancha kosha tita san. Okay, does anyone have a handbag? Lift it up. Okay, that is a kosha. What's the purpose of a handbag? No, you don't need to see. What's the purpose of a handbag?
To carry things.
Huh?
To carry things. Valuable things.
Store things, yeah? And what's the second thing? She just said valuable, that should give it away. To hide it. So, kosha is that which stores and that which hides what it stores. So, pancha is 5, and then kosha is, you can put handbag as a metaphor. Okay, now put 3 columns, 1 sthula, 2nd sukshma, and 3rd karana. Because now we're going to associate the pancha kosha to each of these 3 bodies. Okay, it's 3 columns. Sthula, 2nd column sukshma, 3rd column karana. Underneath sthula, we put anamaya. Anamaya, A-N-A-M-A-Y-A. Underneath maya, we now need to break this word down. What does maya mean? Now, this is not maya with 2 long maya, right? This is the original maya. It's 2 long A's. But just maya without, see, that's the thing with not writing Sanskrit properly, is when we come to the right word, you think, oh, okay, you're talking about maya. That's why I'm so adamant about putting diacritics on every letter. So, maya without the long A's means full of, right? Anamaya, maya means full of. And ana means food. Hamburgers, cheese. In other words, what is your sthula sharira?
Full of food.
Yeah, basically just food. All of the food that we've ate from the beginning of birth, even when during the gestation period, is it called the gestation period? While the baby was forming in the womb, even that, or even the uterus, right? That also came from the mother's food. And then when the baby was born, then the baby was sucking on mom's milk, and that milk is also food, and that gave the baby birth and growth and strength. And then after the baby matured into an infant, then it continued eating food, juices, proteins. So all the way from birth to now, your body is literally nothing but food. Nothing but food. Everything you've ever ate is just food. In fact, what comes out of the body? Food. Okay, so Annamaya is full of food. So we can now call each other, hello food, how are you food? In fact, this is how the rishis call, I think this is the rishi joke. Oh, how are you food? Let me hug you food. Okay, underneath sukshma, put the first one is pranamaya. P-R, long A, N, there's a dot underneath the N, A, maya. Pranamaya. Pranamaya is, just for general purposes, we say energies, okay? Energies like the circulation of blood in the arteries, in the veins, energy that controls the digestion, which still goes on even at night when you're not thinking about it. So all of these energies take care of the body, whether we think about it. Even in a coma, these energies are still operating, prana. Expulsion, that means to excretion, right? We don't have to command our bodies to excrete, to expel, to perspire, right? It just happens on its own. So this, quote, happens on its own is directed by these energies called pranamaya kosha. So it's that kosha which is full of prana. The second one is manomaya, M-A-N-O, manomaya, M-A-N-O-M-A-Y-A.
Sorry, is it on the
Third one.
Underneath, and sukshma.
oh,
So pranamaya is underneath sukshma.
Oh.
Yep.
We got Annamaya underneath Stula.
No,
Stula.
pranamaya is underneath suksha.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And manomaya is underneath sukshma.
Yeah.
Okay, now the word mano, you probably recognize the word mano. It's actually sanhi, manaha. That's the mind. So, what is, now we're going to ask, what is the mind? Okay, we can say generally mind is emotional aspect of our experience. Whenever we feel something, that's the mind operating. Mind is like a pendulum, going left to right, like this. Should I? Should I not? Should I talk to this person or that one? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I listen or go elsewhere? Should I eat this food or that food? Go to this class or that class? Should I write this down or watch the videos back home? Huh? Always going left to right, unable to decide. Does this sound familiar? This is called doubting. This is the job of the mind, to constantly doubt, left to right. Is it this way or that way? Is it like this or is it like that? When it finally comes to a firm conclusion, we call that decision. By the way, do you ever notice people say, make up your mind? Huh? Make up your mind. I think also, I think more women sometimes, they complain that the man is unable to make up his mind, right? So, okay, we're not going to put sexes into the picture. We'll just say, when someone says, make up your mind, think about what this means. That means at that moment, I do not have the right knowledge in regards to that which I'm supposed to make my mind up about. That's why I'm unable to make up my mind. That means I need knowledge. I need some kind of instruction to make the best course of action and decide, is it like this or is it like that? So it's only until I get the right knowledge can I say yes, no. Okay? So once the decision is made, we call that Vijnana Maya Kosha. V-I-J-N. There's a squiggly line above the N. V-I-J-N, long A, N-A, Maya. And this is your thinking or analytical buddhi, intellect. The buddhi that assesses what is best or what needs to be done next in accordance with the environment. It's the thinking, it's the calculating, it's the assessment, it's the evaluator. So that means when the Manomaya, being constantly swinging from left to right, finally stops swinging, it converts from doubt into understanding. That understanding belongs to Vijnana Maya Kosha. So whenever you finally go, now I get it. Before that moment, it was in the state of Manomaya. When you go, now I got it, then it becomes Vijnana Maya. Okay, you can also put other names for Vijnana Maya is Buddhi Maya. B-U-D-D-H-I, Maya. Or Jnana Maya, that means knowledge, full of knowledge. Jnana Maya. Or decision, yeah, proof, because decision ends the doubt. Underneath Karana, put Anandamaya. Long A, Ananda Maya. A-N-A-N-D-A Maya. Anandamaya. Now, why do we call this the bliss sheath? Did you ever think about it? It's just a symbol. It's a symbol that when we go to sleep, what's dominant? Anandamaya Kosha. It's in potential. And what's the general view of everyone when they think about sleep? I'm happy. There's just nothing there. Right? So it's a symbol to what's present during sleep. And what's pleasant during sleep is Ananda, bliss. Anandamaya. That's why we say potential. When everything's potential, it's just, it's not expressing. So I'm happy because I'm not being obstructed by the objects. Okay. Panchakosha Tita San. Okay, Atita. Where is it? Atita. A-T-I-T-A. Atita means behind or beyond. So put Atita. A-T long I-T-A. Atita. Underneath put behind or beyond. So what is Atma? That which is behind or beyond the Pancha Kosha. Pancha Kosha Tita San. That's what Atma is. Behind or beyond the Pancha Kosha. And San just means being. So it's being behind the Pancha Kosha. Okay. Let's go next one. Avasthatraya Sakshi. Repeat. Avasthatraya Sakshi. Okay, write down Avasthatraya Sakshi and we'll analyze this line. Above Avastha, we say states of experience. Traya means three. Avastha, states of experience, Traya, three. Sakshi. Sakshi Nice name, huh? Give girl's name, Sakshi. Sakshi, we say, watcher. That which illumines what it watches. Illuminator. Or I should just say that which illumines. Illuminator sounds more like an entity. That which illumines. That which shines. The witness, Sakshi is the witness of Avastha Traya. So Sakshi is the witness of the three states of experience. It's the light that illumines everything that happens in your waking state right now, everything that happens in the dream, and even is illumining the deep sleep, which is how we're able to say sleep is happy. So it illumines all these three states of experience. So that means Atma is a Sakshi behind these three states of experience. Atma is Sakshi behind Panchakosha. Atma is Sakshi, the illuminating factor, which illumines whatever it is shining. So if it's shining a really happy body, then the person says, I'm happy. If it's shining a really, let's say, a body that is going through sorrow of some sort, then the Atma remains unaffected, but the body is going through sorrow, and since Atma is shining through the contents of the three bodies, then the person says, I am sorrowful. So Atma remains completely free, and it simply shines onto the contents of the body. What are the three states? So underneath Avastha, but three states are waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So Atma is the Sakshi of these three experiences. That means whatever happens in these three states, Atma is illumining that also. So, let's summarize this with one line. Who are you? Does anyone want to go for this? Who are you? According to what we just read.
The self illuminating the three bodies.
Huh? Come on, someone, just give it a go. Who are you, based on everything we've just said?
The Atma.
Okay, okay, clue.
That which illumines everything.
Huh?
That which illumines everything.
Okay. It's very short, super. Include everything we just learned, including the three bodies, the Panchakosha, and the three states. What is Atma?
We are the body mind, the stula, sukshma, karana,
Yeah.
and with the Atma illumining it.
The light reflecting off the bodies.
I'll correct that. That's good. I am other than the three bodies. I am other than Panchakosha. I am other than the three states of experience. So you see what we're doing? We're first discussing what I am not before we're talking about what I am. So we first have to negate what I'm not to be clear about Atma and Anatma. Okay? So once again, Atma is other than the three bodies, other than the Panchakosha, other than the three states of experience. So let's make this practical. Whatever is experienced in the body, whatever it is, I can't be that. Whatever I undergo in this waking state, no matter how joyful or how not joyful it is, that is also not me. No matter what happens in the dream, it's got nothing to do with me. Deep sleep, that state of deep sleep, has got nothing to do with me. So Atma is behind illuminating the three bodies, illuminating the Panchakosha, illuminating the three states. Okay.
Wouldn't you rather describe it as the higher and the lower self, you're still there.
Yeah. The lower self belongs to where? Sukshma.
Yes, it falls in that category. Well, it's hard to say that we're not this body because we are still there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say this is our temporary body?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Would it not be better to say that Atma is the awareness of the three bodies, the five
Yeah, but
shields?
we're doing a different type of teaching now. So I'm not using the language I used in the previous 34 lessons. Okay? You'll notice that I'm using though. So it's not good now to start connecting. What you said that, right?
Yeah, okay.
Atma is other than three bodies, other than Panchakosha, other than three states of experience. Yes, Lloyd?
Was it Avasta beyond?
Avasta is three states of experience.
Avasta is three states.
Yeah. Atitaha is beyond. So put Avasta, three states. Avasta Traya. Traya means three.
States three.
Avasta is the states and the Traya is the
It's three, yeah. Okay. Now let's go into the next one. Satchidananda Swarupa San. Okay. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat existence, Chit awareness, and Ananda limitless.
Is there any difference in the spelling here between Sat, Chit and Ananda?
Because it's Santi.
It's what?
It's Santi. Remember I spoke about Santi? When you join letters, they change the combinations. Now, Satchidananda Swarupa, this is indicating your direct nature. Okay? This was all indirect. This was just saying who you are not. It wasn't directly saying who you are. Now we're speaking about you are Satchidananda, and that direct nature of Atma is Satchidananda. Okay. So next to Satchidananda Swarupaha San, put direct nature. Everything before was indirect. This reveals what Atma is. And they were only telling you who you are not. This is telling you who you are. Okay, now, these two definitions are important. On the next line, put Swarupa Lakshana. S-V-A-R-U, long U, P-A. Swarupa Lakshana. L-A-K, S with a dot underneath the S, A, N with a dot underneath the N, A. Swarupa Lakshana. And then next to this, direct nature, direct definition. Lakshana means definition. And Swarupa means direct. So, direct definition. Now, let's give an example. What is... Okay, sugar is sweet. Yeah? I described sugar directly. So I gave the direct nature of the sugar. Now, what is indirect nature? Indirect nature, put tatastha lakshana. T-A-T, there's a dot underneath the second T. T-A-T-A-S-T-H-A. Tatastha lakshana. Obviously, tatastha has to mean indirect. Next to indirect, put in reference to. In reference to. For example, sugar is that which makes my tea worth drinking. I didn't tell you what sugar is. I gave you an indirect definition of sugar. Sugar is that which you put into coffee. Or how about this?
So the reason for being.
We use examples. Her presence on stage caused everyone to be silent. Did I describe anything about her? But you get an image. If everyone went silent because of her presence, Do you not get an idea what kind of a person this has to be in order for the audience to go silent? So I didn't tell you anything information about her, did I? I just said her presence on stage causes everyone to go silent. You don't know anything about her. I didn't tell you anything directly about her. But you what? You heard something other, some reference point. Everyone went silent. And by that I infer what kind of person she is. That's tatastha lakshana, indirect definition. Now, both swarupa and tatastha has to be there for moksha to work. That means the teacher should use both swarupa and tatastha lakshana for, or to help the student disassociate from the three bodies, the panchakosha and the three states. Why? Because nobody can describe what awareness is. It's impossible. So I have to give you an indirect definition for you to infer, so he's actually or she's actually referring to that. But nobody hears what you conclude. Only you do. You understand? This is crucial. This is how this knowledge actually takes place. Nobody can say, if I just tell you, you're just awareness, great, I walk off. That was called swarupa lakshana. But that's not good enough. I have to include tatastha lakshana. Okay, this is going to come up very often, these two words, very soon now. So I'm introducing you to these basic terms. Okay. Now let's revise everything we just said. All right? What is differentiation of tattva? What is differentiation of tattva called? Someone answer this. We start.
Reality.
Come on, this is the first thing we did.
Reality.
Okay, you're very close, yeah. But then we use the word. I want precise answer.
Atma and anatma?
Yeah. Okay. So even before that was good. But even before that, we use the word tattva. What is differentiation of tattva?
Reality and non-reality.
Yeah, which is called tattva viveka. Yeah, which is tattva viveka. That's the answer. So you were one step ahead of me. I was just looking for tattva viveka. That's fine. Okay.
What was the question again?
What is differentiation of tattva? Or what is it called? Tattva viveka. Okay? That's how we started. Tattva viveka kaha. Yes, that's another. See, you guys are already ahead of me, so that's fantastic. All these answers are true. But I just wanted tattva viveka. So tattva viveka is what? Of reality. And now you can say satyam is, atma is satyam, everything else is mithya. Okay. General definition of tattva viveka is inquiry into reality. That's the general definition. Inquiry into reality. But direct definition, which was already given, is self is satya, everything else is mithya. So we got general and we got direct. Now satyam is what? There's a word for satya.
That which doesn't change.
Sanskrit.
Brahman?
Satya is, there's a word for it that we assigned. Only Sanskrit. Yeah? 10 out of 10. What does abhatita mean?
Cannot be falsified.
Yeah, super. Okay. Not falsified and cannot be negated. Abhatita. Okay. Mithya is, we gave the word for mithya. Bhatita. What is bhatita?
That can be falsified.
What does it mean to say it can be falsified?
Negated by knowledge.
Yeah. It can be made false. For example, when I see the truth of that object which I was looking at, then the snake goes away and I see the truth of it being the rope. In other words, I falsified the snake. Or, how about an example, walking in the desert and seeing an oasis in the distance with water. And I keep walking and the oasis never gets closer to me. And then I eventually conclude, that is just a mirage. I now falsified it. See the two examples? One of them, the snake went away completely and I saw the truth. The other, the mirage still kept on going, but I still know it's false. So that's two different types of negation. One is where it's completely gone. The other is where it still remains, but it's known to be false. So in other words, in both examples, I've negated both the snake and the mirage, except in the second example, this mirage still continues. But by my knowledge, it no longer tricks me. It no longer fools me to keep walking closer, 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 which is what the spiritual world can end up being, just coming closer, 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 but I never get closer. Yeah. Okay. So mithya is seen in ignorance, and it goes away in knowledge. So the snake, we say, what snake metaphor for? Mithya, and mithya can be negated, falsified, or the other word is it ends. It ends in knowledge. The snake ends in knowledge. The oasis ends when I realize it's not what I thought it is. Okay, and now satya, let's revise satya. In state of ignorance, it is what?
Not seeing.
Yeah, but we corrected not seeing with something else. Partially, excellent. Partially, not fully seen. And in knowledge, it is fully seen. So that it means in darkness, I see the snake. When knowledge, that is the light, comes, then the snake is removed and the truth of that actual object is known to me. Okay. So the other way to put this is when the mind's knowledge is aligned with reality, I see reality as it is. Put this down because it's important. I'll explain why it's important. When the mind's knowledge is aligned with truth or rope, when mind's knowledge is aligned with truth or the rope, I recognize the truth or the rope. Now, what is the implication of this statement? It means that for whom is self-knowledge for? Is self-knowledge for satya or is self-knowledge for the mind? For the mind. Are we all agree? So that means when I give the mind knowledge aligned with reality as it is, then reality as it is becomes obvious to me. So that means if I'm walking around with a mind whose knowledge is misaligned out of what is, then I will see reality in accordance with not alignment with what is. Make sense? So that means self-knowledge, all self-knowledge does, it aligns my mind with what already is the truth. Self-knowledge has nothing to do with Atma, with Brahman. That's already free. It's just for the mind. And now we know why education is so important. Because who are we educating? The mind. And when we educate the mind, our reality, our education is aligned with reality, and thus I see reality. Okay, now mithya, let's go back to mithya. Mithya object. Put for object, there's another word. Pada, P-A-D-A, long A. Pada, padartha. Padartha. Padartha is object. Mithya padartha. So mithya padartha has no permanent existence. So any object has no permanent existence. We're now extending onto the vocabulary of what is mithya. It stays for a time. Or it's impermanent. We can just sum it up as impermanent. That which has temporary existence. These are all terms for mithya. Okay, and satya is ever existing. It never ends. It's permanent.
What does patata mean in terms of definition? You said mitya patata?
Object. Padartha.
So
Padartha.
you can't have a satya patata, obviously.
Yeah, satya is aware of the mithya padartha. Okay. Okay, satya is ever existent, it's permanent, and it never ends. Here's a little fun experiment. Okay, just imagine that we all tell a lie to 5 people. Okay, a different lie to 5 people. In 2 months, we have what? Forgotten all the lies. But what stays with us? The actual truth, right? So satya is like that. No matter how many lies or how many padarthas come onto it, they all end, but what remains is the truth. The truth never dies. Let's, okay, what is tattva viveka? Respect to the individual. Tattva viveka, respect to the individual. Remember we had those 2 lines? Revise. Tattva viveka, respect to the individual. We had, he said, yeah? Micro and macro. What's micro called? And what's macro? So Atma is Satyam. Yeah, that's true. Atma is Satyam and all else is Mithya. So respect to the individual. What is Tattva Viveka? Self or Atma is Satyam and all else, that means body, mind, intellect, is Mithya. Okay, now the last line is Yas tishtati sa Atma. Yas tishtati sa Atma. Okay, Yas tishtati just means which stands that Atma. So it's a concluding statement. So Satchidananda, so Atma is that which stands as Satchidananda, that which stands as the truth of this whole statement. Okay? Yaha, which tishtati stands, that Atma. Which stands that? And it's a conclude. It's a Sanskrit version of concluding the whole verse. Okay. Should we now do the gross body? Yeah, I thought to do the gross body because the gross body, because when we know what the gross body is in detail, we know exactly how to negate it. We know exactly that I am not. See, the more you know about what I think I am, the easier it is to get rid of it by knowledge. Yeah? So we can do the gross body next week because it's going to be another 20 or so minutes. For now, what I would like is, what we're going to do is come into groups and answer every single question. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Number 7, I think.
Yeah, when it says it can be falsified, what's the it?
Can be falsified, negated, and dead by knowledge. What does that mean? Mithya.
Well, what?
Mithya.
Yeah.
Simple. And then you're supposed to explain what mithya is, what is the mithya object. Next.
The Atma is silence, or Atma is the knower of the silence.
Yeah, good one. What do you think?
I thought it's the knower of the silence, and it's silence. Actually, it's not silence. It's the body, the mind that experiences silence.
Yeah, we're not talking about the silence that's supposed to sound.
As bliss.
Because if it is knower, there is an
So I
action.
was a bit
right?
confused with that one.
So what's your answer for this?
Atma is silence.
No. If it's silence, then it's silence experienced by the
Okay, we
mind.
need more precision. If we say Atma is silent, we just attribute it.
Yeah.
Atma a silence
It's not
attribute.
lightning.
But how could you validate that the Atma is silence?
No.
Because you're Atma who's validating that there's silence. So they're two things apart. Atma is the knower of the silence. Any doubts about this?
But isn't Atma supposed to be the knower, the knowledge, and the known?
The knower, the knowing, the knower, the knowing, and the known.
Yeah.
Where does this come from, this idea?
I don't know. I'm just. They're the three states of knowledge, I guess, in that sense. Because we're talking about the knower of the silence.
We usually don't say that in Advaita Vedanta, because that's confusing. It doesn't.
It's neo-Advaita.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's just confused me. Like, huh? What am I supposed to say to this?
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have to ask you, what is the knower? What is the knowing? What is knowing? And who is the knowing? And the knowing of what?
Mm-hmm.
And who is the knower? Is the knowing knowing the knower? The knower knowing the knowing?
I can read that now.
Or they're known by whom? Which of these three? So now we have to go into this spin of endless.
Subject, object.
Yeah, subject object simple. Subject object.
Yeah.
Subject, but even subject object has to be. This idea has to go. Because then if I say subject object, then I'm equating, I'm giving validity to mithya, but there's only consciousness.
I think I have seen a triangle like the knowing, but it's that observing. So you have the observer, that which is observed, and then there is a third one just saying there's observation,
The observation.
which is both sort of together. That doesn't come into anything.
I don't get into this conversation.
Yeah. I guess the problem with that question is the definition of silence. Is it silence being the absence of sound?
Yeah, you can say
Or,
that.
or
Yeah,
silence meaning something else?
Okay, you wouldn't. You can say both ways, yeah. So if that was confusing, that's fine. But Atma is always prior. It's behind everything.
Is the knower. So.
Yeah. Just stop awareness of whatever it is that I'm attributing. Okay, I'll explain this in a little bit more detail.
But I would have even gone one further and said it's not even the knower, it's the witnesser. It's not really the knower.
Okay, here's a technical definition. Okay, very important. Take a picture of this. This line separates the known and the knower. Satya, Mithya. Okay. Now watch this. I know that. I know this object. Okay, so if I say, I know this book. So can we all say, I know this book?
Mm-hmm.
Say it. I know this book. Okay. So how did you know that there was what knew that there was an I knowing about this book? This part here. That's why we call this part Atman. Non-participating, non-interfering, unchanging, non-verbalized principle of knowledge. That which knows about whatever it is that I present to it.
Mm-hmm.
Illumines the thought experience. Illumines this I, ahamkara, who knows about this object. So even if you say I am, it's a typical statement, I am. That's where it stops, right? I am. Just stay at the I am. No. What knows about the I am? What illumines that you just said I am?
Atma.
What validates that I just said I am? Atma. That Atma is I know that. This cannot be grasped. If I try to grasp this, then who's trying to grasp it?
Yeah, that's right.
The ahamkara tries to grasp this, but this is always prior to the ahamkara. Yeah? Simple. So I know this object, that's the ahamkara speaking, but there is that ungraspable, untouchable witness.
Well, that's why I like the sakshi, the witness knowing.
That's the sakshi we call this ungraspable, Why is it not interfering? Because if it interferes, then I could not make the statement clearly.
Exactly.
Why does it not participate? Because if it was participating, then I could not establish a direct decision. Book. It would be interfering with my decision. Witness, knower, observer, one that leads us. Okay, is that clear now?
Yeah.
So now when I said, now let's go back to this question.
I
know silence. Here, the knower of the silence is Atma. Simple.
But I think to me it was important to have that word witness in front of the knower, the witness knower.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Like anything else?
Yeah.
A bit further up, the classification. Clarity is established by a process of classification and something else I forgot.
Discrimination, I thought.
Clarity said a process of
classification and then discrimination.
And differentiation.
Oh, well, you said differentiation.
Yeah.
I put one further than that one, because differentiation just gives you the two.
Yeah, different language, different
whereas
class.
Discrimination means you've actually made a decision on the two.
Different language, different class. Yeah, so we're just changing the language around. So we have to
semantics, I guess.
Yeah, semantics. Well,
So we're saying classification and differentiation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's clarity. So how do you get clarity? You classify what is what. Until then, the house is a mess. When I put things in their order, I feel relieved.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually like that. I love that relief when it's all in order.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. How about another woman example? Cake. Baking a cake, right? I have to know where my ingredients are. Turmeric, flour, brown sugar. Imagine,
Dries and like.
Yeah, you
There you
don't
go. There you go.
That thing is burning.
Yeah, you see, now you relate. Imagine everywhere. It's just, sorry, I haven't made your cake. Why? I haven't classified my ingredients. Yeah. So next week we'll go through, any more questions? Next week we'll do this one. What's this one called? No, Sanskrit. Okay, and the other one? That's Panchakosha. That's Panchakosha. What does kosha mean?
Sheath.
Huh?
Sheath.
That's an indirect. What's indirect called? Sanskrit?
No.
Indirect. So handbag is indirect of kosha. What is indirect called? Now there's a dot underneath the second T. So it's a tree. Da. Yeah, that's indirect. So the handbag was the tatastha lakshana of kosha.
So kosher is a carrying and...
No, it's her handbag.
Yes. But that's indirect, isn't it?
It's indirect, yeah.
Container and hider.
Yeah, that which contains.